Good morning, Spain. How lovely to have you with us once again. Today we'll be checking out Madrid Fashion Week, networking groups across Spain, what it takes for us to notice the elderly in our community, great novelists with new books coming out in 2025, why laughter is the best medicine, simple yoga exercises to improve our balance and coordination, and a surprise visit by Pointless Dave. Stay tuned for this and more. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
What another start to another great week ahead. And just to position ourselves in Spain, let's chat with Ali about associations and networking groups that we can join and check out to really make sure that we're never bored, lonely. I mean, there's so many different types of groups, aren't there, Ali?
There are. There's an amazing amount of types of groups. Some of them are very focused in specific areas around Spain, and some are focused on specific topics. You know me well. Networking is one of my favourite things.
You're so good at it.
For me, it's a lifestyle. It's not just something that you do once a month on a Tuesday because you have to. It's something that I really embrace and really enjoy. So it was interesting to research the groups that are around because there's actually not as many as I thought there'd be. So
take it away.
So on the business side, there's BNI International, which is Business Networking International Group, and they cover the whole of Spain. The thing that they're famous for really is getting up very early in the morning, and they only want one of each business type at each of the different groups. So it's very much a referral-based networking group.
That makes sense. So you don't end up with 8 estate
Exactly.
agents.
Right.
And that way you always recommend within your group,
Exactly.
I suppose,
Yeah,
so giving everyone business.
Yeah. And then there's a company called WeWork, which actually is based around co-working. So they have co-working spaces all across Spain. And they also organise networking groups for the people within their co-working space.
Well, that's interesting that they actually take their own business and then create groups to promote it at the same time.
Yeah,
Clever.
yeah. I think it's a good idea because there's a lot of new, because of co-working and post-COVID, there's a lot of people that are now working in or go into co-working spaces for a day or an hour or something on a regular basis. So it's nice for them to share their stories to more people.
And so many people have come in with that visa based on working
digital nomad
visa, that they are a lot more people using these co-working spaces.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's a couple of specific ones I wanted to mention, and if I don't mention all of them, it's because I haven't found them all in the list. Mum Abroad, which is a networking group really for mums and dads who have children. So they're very specifically focused on services that you can offer to parents. It was started about 2010 and really based on the Mums Net idea. So from a lady who had her first child, was living in Barcelona for the first time, needed some support, and it's grown from there. So Mum Abroad is another really great group. I found another one which is very specific, which is Euroavia, which is for the aviation sector, but for young people in aviation. So there are some really different groups out there if you've got specific areas. There's actually quite a lot of women's associations. Obviously, Costa Women, which covers the whole of Spain.
And that one, just to stop there, you started because you moved to Spain and you didn't have friends here and you wanted to create some kind of group for yourself that really took off.
Yeah.
Were you amazed at how many thousands of women around Spain? And now a Costa Woman?
Yeah. So, 2010 I started, so it's been going 15 years this year. And we do cover the whole of Spain and the islands. We have about 23, 25 events a month. And both business and social. So everything from book clubs, we've got a huge paddle group now in Estepona, but then we've got groups in Madrid, Barcelona, Mallorca, all over the place that meet up. And then we have business networking as well. And we've actually got our annual Women in Business conference this coming weekend. And
that's also coinciding with International
Women's
Day, which is something you always support, being a women's group, which I think is really nice. Although I think is there an International Men's Day?
There is, actually, in November. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some women will say every other day of the year is International Women's Day. I said some women, I didn't say me.
Yeah, I mean, I've called it International Women's Millennium because,
nice one.
because it is something that we seem to only think about on one day a year, but actually it's the whole year. So
Exactly. Agreed.
Yeah.
You agree, right, Simon?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
No peer pressure here whatsoever.
What's the right answer? Yeah.
Surrounded by women. A token bloke with John.
So segueing from Coastal Women then, we are actually for the conference supporting the Sir Optimists, who I know that you've had on Marbella TV. They are probably one of the oldest groups around. They're not primarily business networking, but they support women and children that are suffering within the communities where they're based, and they're based globally. And we're actually supporting a project that they're doing for Valencia and for Malaga, which is to support women that lost their businesses through the Dana floods.
Yes.
The floods in Valencia.
Yeah. So we're supporting them for that. So they meet globally and in lots of different places in Spain. There's Internations, which is more of a social group, although I think they do have a business side to it, which started about the same time as Coastal Women started. And again, they have groups all around Spain. They meet up locally. They have lunches and dinners and fun things, activities. So they're good to check out.
Yeah, and also when you travel to different countries,
Exactly.
there are internations in
Yeah,
each, so you
there
can
are.
go and meet up
Exactly.
with people that at least part of your club kind of thing.
Yeah, and they offer a free membership as well as a paid membership, so you can try it before you buy, as it were. There's a group called Girl Gone International, which is really for the younger ladies. And again, they cover a lot of different places around Spain. They do social events too. And they're worth mentioning because they're actually really a big group and international again. So like Internations, if you joined them, you could go and join them in India, for instance, or, different places where you're traveling to. Rotary International. They offer local events too. They do business networking. It's a very referral-based system again, so that's Rotary. Toastmasters, if you want to improve your public speaking, they're a great group where they get together and they speak to each other. They do pitches to each other, and then you get critiqued on how you're speaking. And they're a really good organisation as well that you could join, and they have groups around Spain. And then, of course, the final groups really are things to think about. Facebook, that has loads of groups on there that may not be official groups, but they do meet up. Meetup, which it's very locally based. It works out where you are based in the country, and it will show you events that are happening in your area. And then Eventbrite as well, they do a similar service.
Oh, I thought Eventbrite was only for buying tickets to concerts.
Yeah.
No, they do organise events, so you can put your events up there, and you can put free events up there as well. So yeah, you can use Eventbrite for that too.
Well,
Yeah.
it's amazing, really. Just goes to show, without even, with a quick look, how many groups out there. So you never need, and that's without mentioning the charities,
Exactly.
and all those things you can get involved with.
Yeah.
You don't need to be bored,
You
do
don't
you?
need to be
No.
bored
Not
or
at all.
lonely.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, and the nice thing is that there are groups for each, like, depends if you like reading, as you say, or if
Yeah.
you
Or
like
sport.
culture or sports
Yeah.
or anything. It's,
Exactly.
well, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
You're very interesting. Go sign up.
Make my day. Make my day.
welcome back. How
Thank
was
you.
Madrid and the Fashion Week?
Oh, do you know what? It was absolutely incredible. Like every single time, there's always like a different buzz and a different energy, but it was honestly just, yeah, it was incredible. Like I was really lucky. So it was from the 19th to 23rd, but I was there for just the Saturday. And I went into 3 of the shows, which were absolutely incredible. And it was so lovely because every single show was completely different, like from the music to the energy to the crowds to everything. So the first show that I went and saw was a designer called Angel Schlesser. And it was so different to anything that I've kind of ever seen before. So the whole collection was inspired by art and fashion, like a combination of those. So it was called Autopsy. So it was basically where everybody has a blank canvas. So our body is a canvas. And he was saying that he wants to combine art and fashion onto the body. So he was saying that like you have the stitching, you have the designs, then you have, you know, from the cutting of the fabric, and that turns into something of beauty. So he was saying that he wanted to show that on the body. And so the shapes were just completely out of this world. Like some of them were completely off the wall, but then some of them were just incredible. Like there was one, you know, like a blazer that came out, but it was like a completely oversized blazer. And then they would put like almost like a carpet on top, but with like a circle in the middle to show like the abstract kind of art and artistic.
It's funny, isn't it? Because when you see the fashion shows, the garments then when they're in the shops are a completely different thing. I used to wear a lot of, in Spain they say Angel Schlesser. So I used to wear a lot of Angel Schlesser because his jackets are very, very cool. In fact, I had some in the cupboard. This is all BK before kids, you know, when one used to spend money on oneself as opposed to on the children. But he used to be one of my favorites. But it's funny seeing it on the catwalk, because then the reality in the shop isn't quite as out there.
Yeah, because it is completely, like his designs are completely out there though, isn't it? And I think that's the thing, like when you do see it on the runway and then you do, as you say, see it in the shop, you kind of think, well, you know, how would I wear that kind of like in my day-to-day kind of as such. But he was like absolutely incredible. And then the next one that I saw was Lola Casadumont, which was, I think it was actually my favorite out of all the shows that I saw, just because, so she took her whole inspiration from Normandy in France, and the colors, like the color palette was very kind of like the khakis, the greens, then a bit of animal print, and then the florals and the purples. And then she would have like this massive bag with a combination of, you know, faux fur and the leathers and the big like kind of like gold chains, and like the models be walking down. It's almost like a suitcase that was in their arms. But that was, I don't know, I think for me that was one of the most beautiful, just because, you know, you've got the whole like Parisian chick, which is obviously absolutely stunning.
And you're very much an Emily in Paris, that kind of whole thing, aren't you? So like fits with you very well.
I just loved it. And I think, as you say, like, I think if you've watched the series, like, and then you saw that collection, you were just like, you know, like, yeah, I was in love. I was just like, this is incredible. So that was absolutely beautiful. Again, you know, you have like the real kind of like structuring of the jackets with the skirts, but then the pleating that would come, but then the soft detailing of, you know, the leathers, and then, you know, the florals. So that was absolutely stunning. That was really pretty. And then we finished off with the absolute, I think, the party of all parties with Agatha Ruiz.
Ruiz de la Prada. Yeah,
And
she is quite something else.
Oh, she really is, isn't she? And I mean, as I say, like that's just a completely different energy. Like you literally go in there and you just want to start dancing. Like it's so much fun. You've got the models that are like waltzing down the catwalk, and they get out the perfume and they start going like spraying, and then they get out their umbrellas and just put them up. And it started off and it was just beautiful. There was almost like kind of like a ballerina dancer, and he came out and he had like this massive kind of like trail behind him, almost like you're like a caterpillar as such, and he was playing with that and dancing around like all the models. And it was just amazing. Like it was so much fun. But again, like she's using all her color palettes of just, you know, the completely bright colors,
and everything we would think were like colors that really don't go together, like pink and orange.
Yes.
She's very much started that movement of pink and orange and red and green do go together. You know, like red and the obscure, you wouldn't think it, but they do. With her, it works.
It's kind of like anything goes with her, isn't it? I mean, you've got like her massive, you know, prints of the hearts, and then the florals all coming in there, and it's just, it really is anything
Very
goes.
playful.
isn't it?
Yeah.
And stuff. You just like everyone, you just kind of start dancing in your chair.
Did you get a chance, because I know you weren't there for long, but did you get a chance to see any of the new designers and things going on?
Yeah, do you know what? So that's really lovely. I know that we've spoken about this before, but it is really beautiful because they give such a platform for the new designers, and they've got a really lovely space in the hall in Ephemera as well. So that's like, I think they really take a great importance in the show as well. And
Must have
as I
been
say,
very busy on a Saturday.
It was honestly, I think it was the busiest that I've ever seen it. It was overflowing to get into the show. So like, if you didn't have a ticket, it was so difficult to get in. So it was such a good energy. And I mean, you know, L'Oreal, who's, you know, so heavily involved in it, and Mercedes-Benz, and it's so well organized. And it's just honestly, like, I can't kind of praise it enough, like the whole organization. It was really incredible.
A fashion editor's dream to be at Madrid Fashion Week. Kate, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Next year we're all going to have to go, I think.
Please.
When you think of car or motorbike insurance, think Linea Directa. When you most need your insurance company, Linea Directa are there for you. With tow trucks, courtesy car, mechanics, legal advice, even overnight stay in a hotel if you need it. There's a whole department dedicated to us Brits with people who speak English there to help us. If you're looking for an insurance policy that really takes all your needs into consideration whilst you're driving in Spain, then Linea Directa really is the company for you. Why don't you give them a call? 952 14 78 34 or contact them online. I was quite taken aback when I was introduced to Pointless Dave, because I haven't watched English television in decades and had no idea that there was a programme called Pointless, and this said Dave was a winner of the show. The objective is to answer questions correctly, but with an answer that's so obscure that other people will have given that answer and therefore get very few points. Pointless. And here is the winner, Dave. Yay!
Thank you very much.
Dave, I'm sure you have a better name than Pointless Dave.
Well, just Dave, funny enough. Chickenless Dave.
How did you get to be on the show? This is something that Hannah, you're a big fan of this show.
Definitely.
Quiz girl, master yourself. And
it was amazing to see him on the show, because I know Dave because he's a father.
It was amazing to see myself on the show.
Because he's a father of my friend, so we know each other anyway. So it was very exciting to see him on the show, and I love the show, loving quiz programs. So I want to know what it was like being on it. You know, what was the day like?
So exciting. You've watched it clearly. Anybody else that ever gets a chance to watch it, it basically happens as you see it on TV. There's nothing.
Okay.
There's no sort of preamble. Alexander Armstrong, maybe you've heard of him. He walks on, does his intro. He has a person that sits in the chair next to him, a guest sort of presenter, yeah. And the music comes, and then that's it, and you're in. You know, there's no preamble.
did you write in, or how do you get selected?
I applied, and then I pressurised my ex-landlady of the local pub to come with me. I couldn't get anyone else. They were all. She was. In fact, it was a case of if Max had to come with me, it would have been off. But no, we had a great time. All the travel, hotel overnight. They wandered up into Boreham Wood, where the studio is, and everything went swimmingly.
From what I see, they choose like different topics. So they do a poll with people who have no idea that they're answering questions for Pointless, which I think is very important for them. They don't know why they're answering these polls. But from what I've seen, because I was just checking it out on YouTube, having not seen English television in forever, but they can answer, like, the topics can be so varied.
Absolutely.
I mean, some of them are spelling, and some people don't spell well. You've had it, you're like...
Yeah, and some of them are just like historical literature. They vary.
What did you have to answer?
The first one that came up, and I was, I'd put myself in the position to be my partner was standing there, and I was in the eyes, sort of thing. And it was Spielberg films. And you go blank, because the pressure,
when you're watching at home,
the pressure is unbelievable.
It's easy when you're on the sofa, but not when you're in the
I just said, well, Schindler's List.
Yeah, you did really well. I was
know.
shouting Schindler's List and then you heard me.
And
Thank you, Hannah.
And then when the column, there's a column of 100 points, and it went down and down. I thought, oh, I'm all right. And then the next two got down into single figures. I thought, we've had it here.
Oh, yeah.
And then, as luck would have it, the next person, we shuffle across, and then the next person on the other team got it totally wrong.
Yeah. They said, and if you get a wrong answer, if you say an answer that's incorrect, you get 100
knocks
points.
you off, basically.
Yeah.
So we got through that round, scraped through that, and then the next round was architectural features, and there were all the different arch and they came up with some obscure ones. I think my partner got one, and it was I forget now. Facade. You know, and that was a good
quite
one.
random,
So
yeah.
that's how it works. It's basically like
So it was a lot of love, but you are good at quizzes anyway, aren't you? You do like to do a quiz,
Whenever
as
I come here,
do
I do
our
Hannah's
quiz
quiz.
musters.
I do the Hogan quiz, you know, so whenever I'm here, I enjoy that with Bev. So quizzing, I like it, you know.
Well
But the
done.
answers at the end, when you went through to the final, you have a choice of 3 subjects.
Okay.
And normally, you know, you look at the 3 subjects and you go, oh yeah, we could do that one or maybe that one. All 3 subjects were horrendous. I said, how would you choose? They were, can you remember what they are? They were,
There was Flash Gordon,
Oh,
Stormzy, 2023 Ladies World Cup.
oh.
So I was never going to be answering that. My partner had no interest in that, Max. And the one we chose eventually, which was also a no-go, Scottish Ferries service in the various islands of
the
Scotland.
ports from the
Oh, my
really
gosh.
hard.
And you've only got, they press you to sort of answer
Quickly.
straight away.
time.
Because it's different when you're sitting at home, particularly if you're not used to being on camera. I think it took me 14 weeks of TV to be able to say something apart from nice. Everything I thought about in my head was great, but it just came out nice. Nice. It's nice.
That's nice.
And people don't appreciate that pressure of...
Oh, how much?
Yeah. Well, you did really well.
Oh, yeah,
Well done,
no, I
Dave.
really enjoyed it.
And it certainly wasn't pointless. You got a fabulous
I
trophy.
got the trophy.
And
And the adoration, and a television star.
Yeah,
What more could I want?
exactly,
You're
exactly.
famous Dave now.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, so you
Exactly.
change that name now. Huh?
Good Morning
Famous
Spain
Dave.
is delighted to have with us the very relevant and the very important
Famous Dave.
Famous Dave.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Linea Directa has come up with a squatter policy for just €24 a year. You don't have to have your home insurance with them. This is a completely separate matter to protect you from squatters. For more information, call 952 147834 or their website, lineadirecta.com.
Make my day. Make my day.
From March the 1st to the 19th, Valencia celebrates Las Fallas. It is one of the most amazing ferias that goes on in Spain in honor of St. Joseph, San Jose. If you've never been, it is a must, with fireworks and bangers resounding through the streets day and night. It's actually scary and exciting all at the same time. Skilled artisans make these huge, enormous, like effigy sculptures that in a grand finale are burnt as a sign of renewal. And this whole thing is considered a World UNESCO Intangible Heritage because it really is something else. One of the best things I've ever been to. we've been talking about networking groups around Spain, also charities. And one of them that I think is very important to comment is those that look after the elderly. A lot of people moved out to Spain in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and now are really old. A lot of them alone. What happens to them? Who's watching out for them? Well, apparently, no one. And that is why I'm delighted to welcome Caradas from Hadas Caradas, the fairies, to the program to basically remind us, let us know what's going on with old people, because that's what you dedicate to, is helping these people. This is your latest passion, because you also saved orphans that were kicked out of the orphanages turning 18 at COVID. That was a turn up for the books, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Turned 18, we've removed the funds towards COVID, and they were just on the street.
Wow.
Yeah, really some serious things. But apparently now we're in dire straits with elderly.
Yeah, I think it's been quite a long time, but we're just not highlighting the facts enough. Age Concern do an amazing job with them, but there's just not, I mean, everything's voluntary. And well, we're at a stage now where people are in their homes with dementia, there's no family around, no one's noticing the dementia, and they're hurting themselves a lot. I mean, the amount of people we find with broken hips that have been there for days, and it's a really sad place out there at the moment.
We take for granted, isn't it? The getting up in the morning, getting dressed, washing, going shopping, doing the basics. And then you get to a certain age and those basics become like a trauma. And if you're not well, then it just gets worse. And there are so many foreigners who are alone. And we've discussed this before, haven't we, Ali?
Yeah.
The Spanish medical system relies heavily on family to support for doing the non-medical things.
Exactly.
Washing you, dressing you, brushing your hair,
Well,
feeding you.
if, for instance, you break your hip here, which I've had 3 people in the last 2 weeks, as soon as you've had the operation, you're taken home, but you can't move. You can't go to the bathroom for a month. So one of the ladies that I got to, she'd been on the floor for 2 days.
Oh, sweetheart.
She was in a complete mess, and this is another issue. This age group of people, this was when diazepam and all the benzodines come out. So actually a hell of a lot of them are heavily addicted to these tablets, and she was just completely zoned out on diazepam, just basically waiting to die.
Oh my word.
And this isn't a one-off case, this is constant. I'm seeing this every few days. I see a case like this.
And I know you had a recent case as well with a woman who's not old but has Parkinson's, and her mother's visiting and suddenly got ill and can't now go home, and having Parkinson's herself and looking after this person. And through the charity, you sent a nurse for 3 nights to at least take over that, because again, you've got an elderly person who needs to be bathed, they're wearing nappies. I mean, there's so much involved in this.
And this is the problem as well. If here in Spain, if you have the lowest pension, then you can get some care, but it's 8 to 10 hours a month. People need that in a week. A lot of people need that in a day. And as you say, this one case, they didn't, a lot of the time inside the home, there's other problems, money problems, so they can't pay for carers anyway, health problems so that they can't care for the elderly. And also it's knowledge. There's nowhere to go and find out, how do you clean them? How do you move them? Where do you get the breathing apparatus from? All these sort of things. There's not like a leaflet here that's going to help you with any of that. And Age Concern, they do it. And when I say a fantastic job, they really do a fantastic job. But their resources are very thin.
The same with you in some
same
volunteers.
As Hadas, we need more volunteers.
What can we do, Cara? Let's talk to the people. What can we do on a day-to-day basis to be more aware and more interactive?
You don't have to go through a charity. Coming through us is great, but look around you. When you see that your neighbour you're not seeing them often, or even when in the supermarkets, you can see when people are struggling. It's reaching out that hand to help. And I mean, if you go to your local churches, certainly there you will find from your pastors and so on, they will tell you the people in the community that are struggling. Go through Age Concern, they will tell you the people that are struggling. At Christmas we had, I made myself 50 baskets to give to elderly people that didn't have anyone going to them. And they was asking for people to just make a phone call on Christmas Day so someone said Merry Christmas, because sorry, it upsets me, but there's so many elderly. that are in their homes, and they didn't even have someone that said Merry Christmas to them.
So there are lots of things easily that we can do.
It's really,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know, it's only
You're
because
the worst person to do charity because you care so much.
But when you see at the moment, when you see they're so grateful just for a bit of kindness. And it's so easy. Anyone, if you've got a neighbour next door, you can take in a dinner. You can go and just to say good morning, even help them make their bed, something really small, have a cup of tea. It means so much to them.
It's that solitude, isn't it,
Yep.
Simon, that when you get to a certain age and it's like just not having that and like feeling like no one cares.
Yeah. Well, because we're sociable creatures, and you may have spent your whole life being sociable, and like you say, family. Maybe some people have outlived their family as well, and then there's nobody, and then you suffer with isolation and depression, sadness.
Depression is a huge thing within the elderly. It really is. I mean, obviously with dementia and these sort of issues, that comes hand in hand. But the loneliness issue is so extreme here. It really is.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe how many people don't have someone.
Yeah.
And it's shocking because you think, well, how did that happen? But none of us are Benjamin Button in it. We're all going in that direction. And who knows? Maybe you're not going to have someone around you. But I think,
Especially abroad, a lot of people chose to live abroad.
Yeah.
Their families are back in the UK, or they are the last of their, of their line. And there's a lot of people who came out here, as I say, in the 60s, 70s and 80s, and now they're finding themselves alone.
They're finding this. I think everyone sort of thought that they'd have the answer by now, but the answer isn't there. And
unless you've got loads of money, and even then, you're better off at home than in one of these aged care centres for me. But then you've got to have the money for it.
It's not even this, to be honest with you, Nicole. It doesn't matter about money. I will say that to you. I mean, I've got my own care agency. We go in. Some people will be with 8 hours a day. There's still that loneliness there. You can't fill that the void with everybody. When I go into the care homes, which I'm in constantly, I'll have people saying, oh, can you speak to me next? Oh, me next. And you think there's 50 of them in there. How on earth are we going to get to everybody and talk to everybody? I'm now going to be setting up for groups of us to go into the care homes and do just tea talks going around.
We did that with school when I was little back in the UK. Every Thursday, we get on coaches and they would take each class to a different aged care home, and then we would talk to my lady. Always used to speak through a hole in her apron. Shocking and terrifying when you're 13, 14 years old.
Yeah.
But really good because you get used to, okay, it smells different, they look different, they are different, but they're still people, and you see how much that means to them. So we can all adopt a grand kind of thing.
That's my new campaign to
I
adopt
love
an
it.
elderly person.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
We will do the checks through Hadas Caradas to make sure that people are obviously, that the elderly are protected. But if there is any elderly out there that are watching the show, please contact us and we will get somebody out to you. I don't want, this is a point at the moment where I want people to know there is an avenue to get to. And we've done such great work with the charity. Who would have ever thought that we would have now have everybody in apartments in San Pedro, and there's
I'm well proud of us for that.
Yeah, I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of young adults now that are training in universities and everything. They're going to have real big lives, and that option wasn't there. And I think it's the other end of the spectrum, but
and we're all going there. And I have to say, it's something that obviously my family now have gone. I'm like the end of my line, and you suddenly think, yes, I live in a foreign country, and your kids have got their lives, and they're not always around. And even going to the dentist the other day on my own, it was like, they would hold your hand. It is, you don't realise it until you start thinking about it. Like, then one day that will be all of us, as you say, we're not Benjamin Buttons. So I think let's just start getting paying it forward as quickly as we can. Look out for that person around who's more vulnerable, lonely.
If you've got time, volunteer. If it's not with Age Concern, we'll do it with Hadas Caradas. There is a list of people waiting for just go and have a cup of coffee with them or take them for a walk. We can train you as well how to help people if they've got ailments, just to move their bodies in bed and things like this, or if there are people out there that are willing to clean them. Because some of these elderly, they'll go weeks without a bath. It's a really sad place.
Yeah, and it's actually, once you get into it, it really isn't so difficult. It's the thought of it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, legs up, nappy.
Do you know what?
It's
It's not even a lot of it's not nappy. It's a lot of the people they forget to clean. They'll remember to go to the bathroom, but they'll forget to clean. And it's just remember. You put a towel over. You show how to do it in the correct way, and the happiness that comes from the job. Honestly, it's on a different level to anything I've ever done. I do believe it's God's calling for me. But
I mean, you've always done, ever since I've known you, you've always blown me away with there is no challenge too big. And as I say, the hundreds of people that you feed over Christmas, but then in COVID and lockdown, the thousands of people and families you've got to adjust in. It's like mind blowing.
But that's, it's not me alone. That worked because you was having us on the show every day. We was getting out to a huge network. It's about pulling people together. Me alone is nothing. I think God pulls people together, and it can be my voice, but it will be God's message that goes out there and pulls everyone together.
Okay, we've got this. All right, grab a granny or a granddad. Tell them you love them, give them a call. And I think those are wise words, things that we can just all take a little bit into consideration. And watch this space. Thank you so much, Cara.
Thank you.
Thank you for caring.
Today, I thought I would talk about some big name authors releasing new books in 2025 and see which ones these guys like the sound of the most. First, we have Taylor Jenkins Reid. She's an American author, best known for her novels The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and Daisy Jones and the Six. She loves revisiting past decades in her books, and her next, Atmosphere, out in June, is set against the backdrop of the 1980s space shuttle program and is about the extraordinary lengths that we go to live and love beyond our limits. The main character, Joan Goodwin, has been obsessed with the stars for as long as she can remember. She's content with her life as a professor of physics and astronomy at Rice University until she comes across an advertisement seeking the first women scientists to join NASA's space shuttle program. Suddenly, Joan yearns to be one of the few people to go to space. Selected from a pool of thousands of applicants in the summer of 1980, Joan begins training at Houston's Johnson Space Center alongside an exceptional group of fellow candidates. As the new astronauts become unlikely friends and prepare for their first flights, Joan finds a passion and love she never imagined. Then we have Emily Henry, an American author who is best known for her New York Times best-selling romance novels like Beach Read, People We Meet on Vacation, Book Lovers, and Happy Place. Her romance novels have sold more than 10 million copies. Her newest, Great Big Beautiful Life, is out in April. It's about two writers who compete for the chance to sell the larger-than-life story of a woman with more than a couple of twists up her sleeve. Alice Scott is an eternal optimist still dreaming of her big writing break. Hayden Anderson is a Pulitzer Prize-winning human thundercloud. And they're both on Little Crescent Island for the same reason, to write the biography of a woman no one has seen in years, or at least to meet with the octogenarian who claims to be the Margaret Ives. Tragic heiress, former tabloid princess, and daughter of one of the most storied and scandalous families of the 20th century. Margaret invites them both for a 1-month trial period, after which she'll choose the person who will tell her story. But she's only giving each of them pieces of her story, pieces that they can't swap to put together because of an ironclad NDA and an inconvenient yearning pulsing between them every time they're in the same room. It's becoming abundantly clear that their story, just like the tale Margaret's spinning, could be a mystery, a tragedy, or a love story, depending on who's telling it. And finally, King of Horror, Stephen King, who famously writes every single day, certainly pays off. He's published more than 70 best-selling books. His latest, Never Flinch, due in May, is a crime thriller featuring his recurring character, Holly Gibney. This book has intertwining storylines, one about a killer on a diabolical revenge mission, and another about a vigilante targeting a feminist celebrity speaker. The Buckeye City Police Department receives a disturbing letter from a person threatening to kill 13 innocents and 1 guilty in an act of atonement for the needless death of an innocent man. As the investigation unfolds, Detective Izzy Janes realizes that the letter writer is deadly serious. Meanwhile, controversial and outspoken women's rights activist Kate McKay is embarking on a multi-state lecture tour, drawing packed venues of both fans and detractors. Someone who vehemently opposes Kate's message of female empowerment is targeting her and disrupting her events. At first, no one is heard, but the stalker is growing bolder. Featuring a riveting cast of characters, both old and new, including world-famous gospel singer Sister Bessie and an unforgettable villain addicted to murder, these twin narratives converge in a chilling and spectacular conclusion, a feat of storytelling only Stephen King could pull off.
Really? That was a chunk moment. The only writer I've heard of is Stephen King. I've not heard of the other ones.
Yeah.
So obviously missing out there.
They're more modern writers, should we say, in the last kind of 10 years.
I used to read a lot, but now I really don't. My first Stephen King book was Stig of the Dump when I was like 10. And I loved it. And I was hooked, and then it wasn't a horror by any means. Yeah. But it was really, I used to tell everyone it was my cousin or my uncle.
He is an incredible
Sorry.
writer, but I'm not a fan of horror, I'll be honest. So
No, me
the other-
either. But when I read Pet Cemetery, I read it on the beach in August, and I was shivering in fear. I mean, he certainly can get a story across,
he's a
that's for
fantastic
sure.
writer,
Yeah.
We've read the one about what would happen if JFK hadn't been
Oh,
murdered.
yes, that's great,
That's
isn't
a
it?
really good book.
Really good. And
Yeah,
it was
that's
adapted
Stephen
into a
King.
TV series.
Yeah.
It was brilliant.
Yeah. And a book club, we've read The Seven Husbands of...
Yes, Evelyn Hugo.
Evelyn
Yeah, that's a
Hugo.
big book club
Yeah.
book. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's really
good.
popular. She's a good writer.
She is,
Yeah, some good ones out there. Real mix. There's something for everyone with books, and that's the idea. If you want to read a light-hearted romance, or you want to read a scary horror book, or a courtroom drama, you know, whatever you're
That was the one
interested
that when you were talking about the beach read, and this was like, oh, this sounds like an author that's like an easy read.
Yeah, exactly.
Light-hearted
Sometimes,
fun.
yeah.
Definitely.
I enjoy an easy read. I'm not one for. I don't like it when there's too many characters.
Yeah.
And because I'm not necessarily reading every day. Sometimes I might leave it for a few days and go back to it, and you don't want to go back to it and go, who are these people? Is that the brother or the husband or the son? I'm not really sure, and you need to go back, and that's really annoying. So I think a simple cast of characters that's easy to follow can help if you're not reading every day.
And I'm just happy you do a book segment so I can just do my reading vicariously through you.
There we go.
Yeah, job done.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Linea Directa appreciates just how important our pets are to us. And that's why they brought out one of the most comprehensive insurance policies on the market from just €39.90 a year. Give them a call on 952 147834 or from the website lineadirecta.com.
Make my day. Make my day.
This week, I'm going to talk about why laughter is perhaps the best medicine.
I agree.
Do
I
you?
love laughing.
Oh, yeah.
Laughing's one of
laughing.
my favourite things to do.
Yeah?
Oh, I love it.
I do, and actually, and I've heard people say that, like, if you should laugh an out loud belly laughing, and it's hard to get that in on normal day to day because there's not much to laugh about on some days, is there?
No, not some days, but I have go-to people as well. I don't know if you do. There's a few friends, or a couple of friends I have who I know. If I go to see them, I will end up having a belly laugh.
I like you two right here.
Laughing, buddy.
But it's true in the sense, in our group, in the team, everybody
We have
is,
such a laugh.
we really, in the sense of like last week, bless her, we were having so much fun making fun of you, Audrey.
Yeah, I know.
And when I look back at the show, and it's like, and we're laughing, and even when we're talking about passive aggressive and sarcasm, picking on people, we continued. No wonder you got up and left.
No, you know what? See, the thing about it is, when you're born Irish, you're actually born with a sense of humour. It's one of our innate qualities.
Right.
And I think because the weather is so bad over there, that all we have to do is just laugh and go to the pub.
Yeah.
That's an Irish thing. But I mean, laughter, it does release dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins.
Yes, you are correct. So the dopamine gets raised by about 150%. And to give you a scale on that, to have a frolic between the sheets is about 200%.
Okay.
And then illicit drugs and things after that raise it up. So laughter really lifts the dopamine. The oxytocin is the intimacy hormone or love hormone.
Yes.
And you release this in your brain literally while we're sitting here talking and having a laugh. That's being released.
Seeping through my pores.
No
as we
wonder I
speak.
love you guys.
Can you not see it seeping through my pores?
Laughing. You represent laughter.
So it's part of bonding. So it's released then. What was the other thing you said?
Serotonin and endorphins.
Serotonin and endorphins, It's very similar to exercise as well. So laughter really, really is good. It can also lower your blood pressure. It's been shown to do that. And it also reduces pain, oddly enough. It reduces how sensitive your pain receptors are.
That's interesting.
Which is really
I
interesting.
suppose when you're laughing and you're really belly laughing, you're not worrying about your problems or your pain.
No.
But your mind is going somewhere else, isn't it?
Exactly. Well, you made an interesting point with being born Irish or being in the rain. The ability to laugh at yourself is extremely healthy because you take the pressure off. You remove some of the ego, first of all, and then you take the pressure off life.
So sarcasm is good then?
Sarcasm is good.
I'd say so.
Well, there's a famous philosopher, Albert
Depends on
Camus.
giving or taking, right? The receiving end or the...
Well, exactly. As long as you feel good afterwards, that's the main thing. A bit like the passive aggression. If you come away feeling a bit, okay, then it wasn't funny. But if you come away laughing, feeling like you've had a good time with your friends or with people, and you've bonded, all of those chemicals are going to be released in your system. The other thing it does is reduce cortisol, which is the stress hormone. So if you're feeling stressed, there are cold showers, yoga, breathing exercises, but also watching comedians. Go and watch a funny film or have a laugh with friends.
I've had
It's
people say
just
they've
as
even
healthy.
cured things like cancer by just watching and laughing.
Yeah.
In the sense of just changing that vibration. As I don't
For
know, as I
sure.
say, I'm just saying what I've heard, but that philosophy of laughter,
Yeah.
laughing, positive, getting on that high
And
vibration.
there is a therapy actually in yoga called laughing yoga, where you
Yes.
get people in a room and just the leader starts laughing continuously for no reason. And it's contagious.
It is
because
contagious.
laughing is contagious.
Yeah.
And everyone laughs because people have funny laughs.
Yes.
Then you laugh at the fact they're laughing funny.
Exactly.
And it's
Yeah.
And even
rolls
if
off.
you fake, like you say, if you like put a fake smile on your face, without even realizing it, within seconds, you then the smile becomes natural.
It
If
can
you
be
force
genuine, yeah.
laughter to make it come, in the
Yes.
sense you can actually fake this and
Yeah.
fake it till
Fake
you
it
make
till you
it.
make it.
Absolutely, yeah. And the same with if you're going to go with your friends, you're going to have a laugh, or you're going to a comedy show, or you're going to watch a funny film. Your dopamine actually starts to rise before you've even begun laughing, because you'll know you're going to enter
You're
into
preempting it.
Exactly, yeah. So you already start to feel better. But so it really is a really good thing to do.
Okay,
It's
simple
beautiful
as
to
well.
do.
And it's so
Love it.
simple, yeah.
Exactly.
So there are a few other ways. It's also a coping mechanism. So, for instance, dark humor.
We've talked about that when people tell me something
yeah.
or bad news.
Yeah.
My first reaction is I laugh like in disbelief. I'm not laughing at it, but my reaction comes like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
This, that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
it sounds like I'm laughing and I'm not. I think I'm just, wow, that's not what I was expecting or
Yeah.
heavier than I thought but
You're
I do.
taking the gravity of the
I
situation.
do tend to
reducing
laugh.
it
We've
a bit.
discussed it.
Yeah. But sometimes we
Not
laugh
really
because we're
laughing.
glad it's not happening to us as well. It's because it's fear. So you're reducing the fear.
I don't think
So
it's that. I think it's more just like I'm blown away. Like, oh, I wasn't expecting bad news. Like,
Right.
I don't know, but it's not. But on the outside, it might not look so good that I'm like,
But I think what you said, it's a good sign when you can laugh at yourself.
Very much
Isn't
so.
it? You
Yeah.
know, when you think, oh my God, it's
Yeah. Well, we take ourselves so seriously, and if you take yourself seriously, first of all, it's all going to be about you. It's I. You're going to be very tense, shoulders up, things like that. You'll know all of this as well. And if you don't take yourself so seriously and can laugh at yourself, you start to relax. You take the tension out of life.
And it relaxes other people. Because
Yeah.
when you're calm and you laugh a lot and
Yeah.
you make people feel comfortable, they kind of come into their own.
Yeah,
It brings
exactly.
out the childlike, the inner
Yeah.
child in people
Yeah.
when you laugh a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
we should
So-
go out into the street now and just start laughing and see how many people we can infect. I was going to say
Exactly.
contage. but-
Contage, is
Yeah.
that word?
There are a few social media
How are we
videos
gonna-
with
we
it.
can-
That's contagious.
It's like it's contagious. How can we contage
Well,
you?
yeah, yeah.
Infectious.
Infect-
That's the infectious. Laughing
Yes.
infectiously. Laughing infectiously.
Infectious laughing, yeah, definitely.
laughing.
But there are a few videos of that when they do that on public trains.
That's
and
true.
I've
stuff
seen
like
it.
that.
I've seen
Yeah.
a guy standing at a
It's
bus
great.
stop.
And it does make you
and
laugh.
he just starts laughing, and then everyone starts looking at him like a weirdo. Then
Yeah.
they're smirking, and then they're all just in hysterics.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Or on the tube
Watch
in London.
out.
Absolutely.
The team laughing next to you somewhere and see if you can join in.
Yeah.
But it seems to
It
work.
does work. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, of course.
It's contagious.
Yeah.
Infectious.
This segment is brought to you by Clear Vision Psychotherapy.
So today we're going to do some yoga movements for our balance and our coordination. Miss Nicole, are you ready?
I am, because I have lousy balance and not zero coordination, but I do. I think like, okay, go move your right foot and I move my left. And I do.
You're all
I always say
discombobulated.
like, turn right, and I use my left hand. So, yeah.
So one of the most famous ones, if you just watch me first, you're going to stand and put your foot, it's called a tree pose. You put your left foot up towards your right knee and you put your hands in prayer position and you balance yourself. And when you're balanced, then you lift your hands in the air like the branches of a tree. So Miss Nicole, let's see how
I'm
you
not
get
really
on
dressed
there.
for this
That's
today.
okay, let's just see how you get to
Okay.
it. So put your left foot on your right. Put your hands in a prayer position.
I mean,
Balance.
between my dress and my
It
boots.
makes sense if you look at something in front of you, like the camera.
Okay, the camera.
And just
okay.
hold for a couple of seconds and breathe.
And breathe as well,
And
all right?
breathe and smile and multitask.
Okay.
Hilarious. I think we'll move on swiftly from that one.
Next. So home in the right attire, maybe.
Yes,
It'll be a bit easier.
No,
okay.
you're not warmed up.
But
You're not warmed up.
exactly, the concept. We've got the concept.
So the next one, we're going to face each other.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to stand on your left leg.
Stand on my left leg.
Bend your left knee, and you're going to lift the right leg up, and you're going to hold on to my hand. Now, as if like saying hello.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too.
Now, the other hand, put it and see if you can lift your back leg up. Good woman. Now let's see if we can let go of this hand without falling. Balance. Well done. Hey!
18th of a second.
She did
18th of a
She
second.
did so well.
Okay.
She did so well. Okay, next one, if you have a partner, hold on to my hands like this, like nice and tight.
Okay.
Bend, put your feet hip distance apart. Arms totally straight.
Okay.
Bend your knees and stick your bum back like as if you're sitting into a chair. So push. Now pull on my arms. Balance.
Oh, that feels good.
Now hold it.
Don't
Smile.
let go.
You show I'll never let you go. Hold it for 4 seconds. Smile.
And breathe.
And slowly push up to the legs. Good. Well done on that one.
Oh, you can feel that
Fantastic.
kind of like all around here.
And one more in yoga. It's actually called the dancer's pose. And it looks like this. You're going to hold on to your back foot. Yeah?
And balance.
And lean forward and lift your leg
Okay.
up. No, I'll hold your hand.
Okay.
Okay, so you have a little bit of support. You
could hold on to a wall or something.
a wall or a chair, and that's it. Beautiful. Now,
I feel like a ballerina.
look pretty. Point your toe. Right, can you let go of your hand? No. Right. Let's just do it one more time and lift up. Lift your leg up high. Come on, lift.
Okay.
Very nice. So if you're at home, give this a go. Find yourself a partner or lean against the wall, hold onto a chair and enjoy your balance.
Obviously, I need a lot of practice, but now I know what to do.
Now you know what to do. Yay.
We hope you found the program informative and fun. Do go along to our website, goodmorningspain.com. Lots of information following up on the topics discussed. We hope you also follow us on social media, YouTube, and have yourselves a great week. Bye for now. Bye.